Hello, it's Joni Hollifield here from Leading for Longevity, here with leadership tips that work at work. So I've created this community as a way to share real tips and real strategies with all my folks out there who are working regular jobs and are aspiring to be leaders. These strategies that I'm going to share with you, not only in this video, but in upcoming videos, are going to be strategies that you can put to work right away in order to gain the necessary knowledge and experience that you need to not only own that interview for your upcoming leadership position, but to also be an effective leader. Now, I'm not saying that everything that I'm going to share with you through these videos is going to be the end all be all in terms of getting you promoted. But what I am telling you, what I am promising you is that if you take these strategies and these tips serious and you actually put them into action, you're going to see real progress towards that goal of getting that promotion or becoming that leader. So, if you like what you hear, please subscribe and please check back often for more videos and more updates. It's impossible for me to share every single thing in one video, but we're going to start with 4 of the critical, absolute critical things that you should be doing at work right now in order to get yourself promoted. First thing, exceed the performance standard. I don't care what industry you're in, I don't care what job you're working, you have metrics, you have goals, you have KPIs, whatever it is you guys are calling them, you have them, and you need to make sure that you are at minimum exceeding those goals at least by a percentage or two. It's not good enough to just say that you're meeting the goal, that you're just meeting the expectation. That's not good enough when you talk about it from a leadership perspective. And it's absolutely unacceptable if you're under goal, even in just one category. What us hiring managers are looking for, we're looking for someone who can not only perform at an accelerated level, but who's able to inspire and motivate and push others to perform at an accelerated level. Now, it's no secret that the highest performer does not always make the best leader. I'm not telling you that you need to be number one. I'm not telling you that you have to be exceeding every single performance metric by 30 or 50%. That's not the message. What I'm telling you is that whatever that baseline is, whatever that goal line is, you need to be over that goal line, even if just by a little bit. That's going to say to the hiring manager that you know the job well enough to do it, you know the job well enough to exceed it, and most likely, if put in a position to teach and lead others, you're also going to get them to meet or exceed that goal. So it's very, very important that when you talk about becoming a leader or when you're putting yourself in a position to become a potential leader, that whatever goals, whatever standards are already in place, that you're already in position to exceed those. Set the example. This by far is one of the most important, especially when you're in that phase of branding yourself as a leader and you're really just coming out on the scene as a person who wants to be in a leadership position. You have to walk the walk and talk the talk. This is a critical stage because in this particular stage, you're showing people what they should be doing. You are giving them something to emulate and you want it to be the right thing. Whatever standards, policies, or procedures are in place at your particular job, you want to make sure that you are following those to the best of your ability. That is not to say that you're never going to make a mistake or that you have to be some perfect Patty who never gets it wrong. It's not to say that. What it is to say is that if you understand the policies and procedures, then you're following them to the best of your ability, to the best of your knowledge. You're going to have a bad day. You're going to make a mistake. Sometimes you are going to get it wrong. Things are not always going to go right. But you are able to say that to the best of your ability, you are doing what you know to be the right thing, what you know to be the truthful thing, what you know to be the honest thing. And that's going to be difficult, especially if you have friends at work or if you have peers or coworkers who are used to you operating outside of those standards in terms of what you're obligated to do on the job. So if you're one of those folks who maybe you have a bad habit here and there, it's going to be a little challenging, a little more difficult for you to kind of rein that in and be consistent with it. But you have to make that effort and you have to make sure that you get that part down pat. Nobody's ever going to take you serious as a leader if they can sit there and point out two or three things that you purposely do incorrectly. Or even if it's not on purpose, even if it is just that honest ignorance, it's going to be your job to understand and to know the policies and procedures that you guys are operating by. And to be in a leadership position, you want to make sure that you're setting the example for that. Stay current in the industry. Whatever industry it is that you're in, stay current in that industry. Take some time to do a little bit of research at night when you get off, or during some time where you have a little bit of extra time. Find out what's going on. Find out if there's something new, if there's something upcoming, or, things that are relevant to the industry and to your field of work. The reason that you want to do this is because you want to be in the conversation with the leaders and the decision makers who are current on those things, not just because they're obligated to be, but just because 9 times out of 10, they are living and breathing whatever industry it is that they're in. So we're not going to just cram our heads with all of this useful information and hope and pray that we run into a conversation where that stuff is relevant. No, that's not what we're going to do. But what we are going to do is we're going to maintain a healthy habit of making sure that we are up to date on things that are happening in our industry. And it helps even more if you can stay up to date with things that are happening within your actual company, with things that are specifically affecting your company and potentially your job or people that you may work with or other folks who are included within your company. It's always, always, always a good look when you can hold a conversation with the manager or the vice president or the director or someone else in a leadership position or someone who is influential within that company. It's always a good look for you to be able to hold that conversation and to actually know what you're talking about. So that type of stuff goes a long way. So stay current in your industry. Share information. This one is a biggie. You don't want to be that person or that leader who just hogs all the information, never shares, and people are just looking at you, hoping and praying that you give them just a little something because they know that you're going to hold on to that information because you don't want anybody else to know it. No, that's not what we do. We do the exact opposite. We share information and we are putting ourselves in a position to be a resource to others. Leaders are resources. Not to say that you always have all the answers or that you always know every single thing that's happening at any given time. No. And a lot of times it's better to know in some cases where to get the information from versus just holding on to it. However, you still want to be in a space where you are looked to as an information provider and as a resource, as a trusted resource. So, if in your workplace, if you guys have regular team meetings, some type of team huddles, or any type of conversational situation where you get to interact and talk with your coworkers or your managers or other people, you always want to be in a position of sharing information and giving people something of value, something that when they walk away from the conversation or walk away from that meeting, they'll feel like they've taken something from you. And when you've done that enough times, people will begin to look for that. They'll begin to look at you in that light and see you as that person who is a resource, and they'll look forward to you contributing in those conversations. And at times where you don't contribute, they'll ask for your opinion. They'll ask for you to share something because now they're trusting you as a resource. They're trusting you as someone that they can get reliable information from, and they're trusting you as someone who is in it to share with the individuals as well as with the team. And that's the way that you want to be viewed as a leader. Support your manager. Now, this one can be a little bit tricky depending on what type of manager you have. If you have a manager who is very supportive, who has no issues with sharing information or offering you support to help you grow your career, then you're actually in a really good position with this one, because then it's just a matter of you being completely honest and upfront, letting that manager know what your career goals are, and advising that manager that in order to grow yourself, to self-learn, to self-develop, you would like to take on additional responsibilities. And some of those responsibilities you would like to be directly off of their plate. So you can blatantly ask for that support right up front. Hey, are there any reports that I can help you with? Are there any daily tasks or weekly tasks that I can help you with, or anything that I can assist you with? And what you want to do is you want to complete these tasks, not just so they get done, but so that you can, number one, put yourself in a position to take on a little more responsibility, because that's what we as leaders do, and also get a feel for some of the different tasks and some of the different things that you may be responsible for if you're looking to climb that corporate ladder from where you are and take on that particular role. You'll already be familiar with those things. Now, you can't expect for your manager to give you things that are of high confidentiality or things that next level employees are not necessarily privy to. That's okay. We're not going to worry about that. The most important thing is that you're making your manager feel as if he or she is supported and that you are getting some extra work that's going to help grow you from a knowledge and experience perspective. Now, the other side of that coin, if you have a manager who is not willing to support you, who doesn't want to share any information, who does not want to delegate any tasks in the interest of your development, then you're going to have to be a little creative in your approach. If you have access to another manager who is in that same position or similar position, then you may want to reach out to that manager and have that manager kind of play as your sounding board, as someone that you can come and talk to, ask advice of, and also see if that manager is able to give you some additional tasks, or at least give you some insight on what additional tasks could potentially look like. Now, you don't want to write your manager off completely, even if that manager is unsupportive. Still offer your support. Ask that manager every chance that you get, is there something that I can help you with? Is there something that I could assist you with? Let that manager know that you are interested in taking on extra responsibilities. And if you have a good rapport, a good relationship with that manager, even if it's not a supportive manager, still let that manager know that you are working towards a leadership position, and hopefully that will prompt that person to support you in some type of way, even if it's just a small way. So, want to make sure that you're supporting your manager, because in the end, that support is going to come back to you. So those have been your tips for today. I hope that you guys have found this helpful. I hope that someone puts this into action. And if you do, please, 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 by all means, feel free to drop me a line, drop me a message to let me know how it worked out for you. Or if you have any questions or just general feedback, please drop me something below. So I look forward to speaking with you on upcoming videos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time.